Hi there, this is Jonathan Ginsberg. I'm an Atlanta area personal bankruptcy attorney, and today I'd like to answer the question, can I file bankruptcy if I do not have a complete list of all my creditors? Now, as I've discussed in other videos, it's really important that you provide the bankruptcy court with a full disclosure about all your creditors, as well as all information about your assets and your budget. In other words, complete disclosure is really important in bankruptcy, but sometimes people come to me and they need to file bankruptcy because they're facing a repossession or a foreclosure, some emergency wage garnishment perhaps. They need to file bankruptcy and they say, I don't have a full list of my creditors. I'm not sure how to get that. Well, the answer is this. First of all, we can file a bankruptcy even if our list of creditors is incomplete. That's called an emergency or a two-page filing, where basically we file the petition, we get the automatic stay in place, then we have 2 weeks basically to get the rest of the information in. So in that 2 weeks, we may have to add creditors. So for example, if you didn't have all of your credit card companies, within that 2-week period of time, we could file an amendment to your petition. There's a charge to add those creditors, but we could then add additional creditors, as many as we need to, and then get the rest of the paperwork filed, again, within that 2-week period of time. And if for some reason we needed more time than that, we can get an extension. So if we don't have a list of all the creditors, it's not the end of the world. We can still file the bankruptcy. But obviously it's better not to file bankruptcy with an incomplete list of creditors. And certainly if we do need to supplement it, you need to go ahead and get that list of creditors together as quickly as possible. The first thing I would do is I would go to annualcreditreport.com, and you can download copies of all 3 credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, and we can use that to fill out your bankruptcy petition. Now, sometimes the annualcreditreport.com will not let you download your credit reports, and that may be because you've been a victim of identity fraud, or there's some issue with verification of your address, or the identification questions they ask you, you don't remember the answer. Some of the questions, for example, they may say, you took out a mortgage in 1990 with X, Y, and Z company. Well, you may not remember that, or the company changed names. So you may have to mail away for them. And the credit reports can take 7 to 10 days to get there. So obviously, if you're under time pressure, the sooner you go to annualcreditreport.com, try to get it downloaded. But if not, you have to request it in the mail. Do that as soon as you possibly can. Another thing you can do, and again, this is a little bit of a pain, but it's worth doing, and I think it's worth doing in general, is to visit the county courthouse where you currently live and where you have lived in the recent past, or any place where it's possible you incurred a debt. Many courthouses, you can do this online. Here in Atlanta, for example, DeKalb and Fulton and Cobb and Gwinnett, I believe, are all online, so you can search for any lawsuits against you, any claims against you, online, and that way you'll have the name of the attorney who filed the lawsuit, so you have a place to give notice. So something I always recommend is to look at the dockets of the various courthouses, both state and superior court, as well as even magistrate court, to make sure that you've got a complete list. And a lot of times you have to understand some creditors will not, those lawsuits or those claims may not make it onto your credit report. Usually they will, but if you've been sued a lot, or if you think you've been sued, or maybe even been a victim of identity theft, it's important to check the court docket to make sure you've got a complete list. If you fail to list a creditor in your bankruptcy, sometimes the debt's going to be dischargeable anyway, and that would be if there was no money going to creditors. But if there was money going to creditors and a particular creditor did not get notice, that can be a problem, and that creditor may not be subject to the bankruptcy stay or to the relief from that's generated by the bankruptcy. So it's really important to try to get a complete list. And finally, I would tell you that if you think you owe somebody money, this could be a company, a credit card company, a medical bill, or even a person that obviously would not show up in your credit report, list it. There's really no reason not to list it in your bankruptcy. We can list creditors as unknown amount of debt, or for $1 or 10 cents for that matter, and that way they get notice. And the nice thing about bankruptcy is this is one place everybody's got to come and state their claim. So if you owed money to your next door neighbor and you've been kind of debating or discussing with him or her about getting that money paid back, and you don't think they're going to do anything, but you never know, list that person. In a Chapter 7, they're going to have to come to court, and if they want to object to it, they're going to have to hire a lawyer and object to discharge or dischargeability. Probably not going to happen. In a Chapter 13, they're going to have to file a proof of claim with proper documentation. Again, probably not going to happen. This way, you eliminate that debt. If you want to deal with it later on, if there's a personal relationship you want to preserve, go ahead and do that. But legally, you want to be as free of as many debts as you possibly can when you file bankruptcy. So bottom line is that we can still file bankruptcy even if you don't have a list of every single creditor. We do want to get those that list together as soon as we possibly can. And if there's any doubt at all about whether you owe money to somebody, list that person, list that creditor, list that person's attorney so that you're giving proper notice and force that creditor to basically set out what he thinks you owe and make and use the form of bankruptcy court to address that, because otherwise this could be something that can linger on and follow you around for years and years. You're in bankruptcy, let's make it go away now. So that is my take on listing creditors in bankruptcy and what you do if you don't have a complete list. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please give this a thumbs up on YouTube, like it on Facebook, subscribe to my YouTube channel, like our Facebook page. I've got several bankruptcy websites I think you'll find helpful. One's called Atlanta-bankruptcy-attorney.com, very comprehensive site. I've got a blog at thebklawyer.com/thebkblog. I've got another website at atlanta-bankruptcy.com, and my law firm website, Ginsberg Law Offices, is glowlaw.com. I've got a bankruptcy section there as well. So I like to provide a lot of free information, valuable information about bankruptcy. I encourage you to take a look at it. Of course, if you have any specific questions, reach out to me personally. I'll be happy to try to answer those or get you to the right place. So for now, this is Jonathan Ginsberg wishing you the best. Thanks a lot. Hi, this is Jonathan, and I hope you found this video helpful. I'd like to invite you to download my free Debt Destroyer Survival Kit right now. I've packed my survival kit with answers to the questions I've heard from clients for over 25 years here in the Atlanta area. Inside the survival kit, you'll find clear, easy to understand answers to critical topics about how to solve debt problems once and for all, including how do I protect my stuff, my house, car, and personal property if I file for bankruptcy? Are there any legitimate alternatives to bankruptcy? Will I ever get credit again, and if so, when? What mistakes must I avoid to get the most benefit out of bankruptcy? You can claim your copy right now by visiting my atlanta-bankruptcy.com website. And you are always welcome to use the email form on my website to ask me anything about debt and personal bankruptcy in Atlanta. www.atlanta-bankruptcy.com. And as always, I wish you the best.